Hi, I'm Sydney and welcome back to my Flock and Squawk. This week we are keeping it super simple and potentially spooky depending on how you feel about decorating cakes. And we are going to make a dirt cake. As you see here, this is my final product, and you can lean into it more into the graveyard, dark, gritty, or the more campy, kind of like what I did. So I am going to show you how I made the frosting for this, which is a peanut butter frosting, and I am going to walk you through decorating it. I have it filmed on a closer camera so you can see better, but I hope you enjoy this week's video, so let's get into it. To start, I've already baked my cake, which is just my normal chocolate cake that I make using black cocoa powder instead of the regular cocoa powder. It's essentially the same, but other than it being a little bit darker, and especially darker in color. Some say that it's a little more bitter, and while I have not tried this cake, I don't know for certain, but trying the batter, it wasn't overly bitter. And I have my peanut butter frosting that I have decided to do because I want it to look very muddy. While I won't be showing you the cake in this video, I will show you how I made this frosting. I started by taking 99 grams of peanut butter and measuring that out, as well as measuring out 227 grams of powdered sugar and about 71 grams of milk. I ended up using a slightly more milk in it to make sure that it was the right consistency. I used a natural peanut butter, but feel free to use whatever peanut butter you have. That's just what I had on hand. And then a splash of vanilla. This is obviously made a lot faster and easier if you use a hand mixer or a stand mixer, but I decided to do it by hand to show you you can. It just takes a little longer and a little more muscle. So let's get into what else I have. I also have some decorating icing, if I so choose. Mine is in black and orange. To help make the dirt, I have some peanut butter Oreos, because that is sort of the flavor combo I'm going for. I have some sprinkles that are Halloween and have some eyeballs in there, if we so choose. And I also have some gummy worms to help add to the dirt effect, and maybe some graham crackers if I choose to do the icing and try and make it little gravestones or headstones. So let's get into the actual decorating. Like I am doing now, you can make all of these components in advance and have the Oreos and whatnot to decorate with your children, or just closer to the time you want it decorated, because the frosting does prefer to be refrigerated because of the milk in it. So I'm going to open up. And it is a beautiful cake. I decided to just do an 8x8, and this amount of frosting should be more than enough, I believe. Now I decided to go with peanut butter to help add to the effect, but also this frosting is very sweet, which will help in case my cake is a bit more on the bitter side, like some of the reviews have said. My peanut butter was also chunky, which is probably why you will see clumps anyway, because of little peanut butter pieces. So we're just going to smooth it on like so. I am actually going to be having this cake tomorrow for a pumpkin carving party. And I think we are also going to the haunted house afterwards. So we're just going to smooth it in to essentially all the edges. Have you ever made a dirt cake? Do you enjoy Halloween? So it looks like I'm ending up using all of my frosting on this cake. So there, we are done with that frosting. Next, I'm going to take my Oreos and put them in a bag. I'm just going to take a few at a time, put them in my Ziploc, and then I'm going to take a measuring cup, but you can use a wooden spoon or a rolling pin, or just sort of brute force it on the counter and crush up my Oreos. This will help create the dirt effect. You can really use any chocolate cookie, or if you have just like cake crumbs that you want to use. And I chose peanut butter partly because I'm doing peanut butter frosting, but also because it will add to that dirt look because of the peanut butter filling being brown. So I've got a few of my Oreos all crushed up, so I'm going to just sort of sprinkle. Oh, maybe some of my pieces are a little big, so I'm just gonna give it another little bit with my Now it really depends on the size of your cake for how much Oreo or how much frosting you use. I'm doing an 8x8, so I don't need too much to be able to cover my cake. Next, we are going to take some gummy worms and I think I'm going to try and like semi-bury them, not really, but just sort of have them poking out. You could do this by cutting them or by layering them in with the icing and the Oreo pieces, but I think I'll just see what works. So it doesn't really take too many gummy worms to really enhance the dirt gross effect. Obviously gummy worms are not naturally colored, but I think it does like help add to it. Help really emphasize that it's supposed to be muck. I'm not really sure what I'm doing next. So I think I'm going to take a little more sprinkles. Okay, lots of ideas. So I've ended up deciding that I'm going to put some eyeballs on. So I've been putting a couple in, and I initially just placed one eyeball at each spot, but now I'm going in and I'm putting a second to make it sort of like there are multiple faces. Maybe the worms are giant and it's sort of like an R.L. Stine kind of goosebumps effect of like, holy shit, the worms are huge. Or maybe these are just very tiny people. But either way, I kind of feel like maybe I should restrain myself and leave it at this. So here is our final product. Obviously not the scariest cake ever, and definitely very simple in terms of a dirt cake, and just in this video in general. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you've made a dirt cake before. What kind of decor do you like to do? Do you lean more graveyard? Do you lean more campy? And let me know if you make this peanut butter frosting recipe. Do you like the peanut butter frosting recipe? Let me know, and feel free to subscribe. I make videos every Saturday. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!